Today, we're moving on to our next step in looking at useful ways of thinking. And this applies, as we've talked about all along, through all aspects of your life. And one thing I thought about encouraging you about is you may be sitting there right now saying, well, this doesn't apply to me, some of the things that we're talking to. I'm fine, I'm good, or why does this even matter? And I get that. But what I want you to think about is one, how can you apply these things into your life to make what you're trying to achieve better? But two, how also could you encourage your friends or your families? Or there's going to be those moments in time where you might have to be the person that picks somebody up. So keep that in mind as we're going along. I hope that you're finding this information interesting and useful, especially with the examples. You should have a sheet where you're going to be filling out your academic vocabulary to keep things going. These terms will be used in assignments later on, so you're going to want to keep a hold of that. But today we're going to be looking at growth mindset. Growth mindset versus fixed mindset are two terms that you're going to hear pitted against each other. And looking at these photos, I want you to think about, what do I think these two words mean based on the pictures? You already have this definition in front of you, but a growth mindset is the belief that you are capable of working hard to increase your potential and intelligence, and you are never as smart as you can be. Growth mindset requires that you have perseverance. Growth mindset requires that you have resilience, that you are optimistic. All of these things are required for you to have a growth mindset. You should always be learning. When you hear that, that's what we're talking about. It's a growth mindset. Some other pictures that we look at is a growth mindset. Your brain is going to be bigger. You only get stronger when it's difficult. For those of you that are sitting around and things are not hard, you need to find ways, dig deeper, so that you're getting to more than just the basics. Don't just accept the basics. Push yourself or dig deeper to find more information. Did you know that when you work hard and struggle, your brain gets smarter and smarter? But the work isn't going to be done by a teacher feeding you something. The work is going to be done by you asking questions, getting curious about things, wanting to know more. Learning is a pit. Good learners keep digging down. They don't just listen to the surface information. They're going to keep digging to find more information. And that is a thing that you do on your own. On the other hand, a fixed mindset, if we look at those pictures we looked at before, a fixed mindset says stop. And I've just essentially locked the door. Mrs. Krejci has told me that a growth mindset is the belief that you are capable of working hard to increase your potential and intelligence and are never as smart as you can be. A fixed person writes that down and never thinks about it again. A growth-minded person thinks about, how can I apply that to my life? Where have I experienced that in my own life? Where have I had problems in this? Or, one of my friends is kind of this way. I wonder if there's something I could do. They dig and they build on that. A growth mindset keeps going in all directions. They unlock the learning that is out there to receive. You will not be always being taught things. You are going to have to teach yourself. And really, if we're doing things right here, what I'm trying to do is to encourage you to be that person that digs, that wants to know more, that asks questions. But if you choose to have a fixed mindset and a belief that you are born with a certain amount of potential or intelligence and it can't be increased, that's kind of that 70% thinking or that 80% effort, okay, says, that's not possible. I'm pessimistic. That's not going to happen. I'm just going to, listen to what the teacher says, and I'm not going to go any further than that. It's not going to take you anywhere very far, and we'll get more into that as we go along. If you want to think picture-wise, a fixed mindset is like putting your brain in a cage. You have locked the door to anything going better. We have this picture with the chains and the keys. bust out of those chains. We don't want to have a fixed mindset. Trying is the first step towards failure. Well, Homer is successful, or at least the people who drew him and came up with the concept. But imagine the world where people didn't think outside of the box. Or as one of my more favorite rich people in the world, there shouldn't be a box. Don't think outside of the box. Don't put yourself in the box in the first place. That comes from Richard Branson, who is now, not only is he a multi-billionaire, he is now the company, one of the companies that is taking us to outer space. All right, look him up. He's a very interesting person. Let's take a quick look at this video, and I actually have it queued up here already. All right. I will go ahead and upload that so that you can watch that again, because there was some really great information that put that together. Oh, and I see I missed a word on here for you for your vocabulary, so you might have to write this on the back. Another term that we're going to be looking at is self-efficacy. Let's take a look at these pictures. And some other words should be coming back to you that we have already looked at. And that has to do with optimism and pessimism. All right, let's look at the definition. Self-efficacy is the extent or strength of one's belief in one's own ability to complete tasks and reach goals. And I'll give you a minute to write that down. Again, just put it on the back of the paper so you have this note. I apologize for that. And I'd write down optimistic and pessimistic. Optimistic people are going to believe that they can do more, as the picture suggests. They have an I can attitude instead of an I can't. The little train that could. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. As we have said, or I've said many, many times, if you tell yourself you're going to fail, you will. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And if you don't fail, you at least won't do as well as you could have. I'll give you a really good example. In high school, I was on the speech and debate team, and by my senior year, I was captain of that team. I went to Millard South High School, so we had a very large team. I was strong and a medal winner in debate, and I also was the #1 persuasive speaker in the city of Omaha. And I won first place time and time and time again. The only time I got second place was at state, of course, and who knows, self-efficacy might have played a role in that. I'm not sure. But I definitely feel that self-efficacy played a part in my failure once I went to nationals. So I took the speech to nationals. It was in Cincinnati. I was there and I thought, you know what? I'm just from Omaha, Nebraska. I come from a school in Omaha, Nebraska. There are people here from the East Coast and the West Coast and these huge schools all over the place. And I'm just a little Midwesterner girl. So, you know, I'm here and I'll do this, but you know what? I didn't give 100%. As time went on, I started giving more and giving more. But here's what happened. I made it up to the semifinals. but I lost out on going to finals, not because I did poorly in my semifinal round, but I didn't have enough points from my earlier rounds where I didn't have, the thought that I could do it. I just kind of went in there and did my 80% job instead of the 150% I was giving by the time I made it to the semifinal rounds. It's an experience I'll never forget. I had a great time. I learned a lot from that, but there's always going to be that what if, because I didn't give my all the first time around. Give your all every time. If you want something, it has to be 150%, 110%, 100% at least to get where you want to go. All right. If I have the belief that I can do it, I shall surely acquire the capacity to do it, even if I may not have it in the beginning. Mahatma Gandhi, always full of wise words. Abraham Lincoln. This must be a video here. Let's see. You 8th graders will get to know a lot more about him this year, so let's take a look.
Dismissed from drama school with a note that read, "Wasting her time. She's too shy to put her best foot forward." Turned down by the Decca Recording Company, who said, "We don't like their sound, and guitar music is on the way out." A failed soldier, farmer, and real estate agent. At 38 years old, he went to work for his father as a handyman. Cut from the high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. A teacher told him he was too stupid to learn anything, and he should go into a field where he might succeed by virtue of his pleasant personality. Fired from a newspaper because he lacked imagination and had no original ideas. His fiancée died. He failed in business twice. He had a nervous breakdown, and he was defeated in 8 elections. If you've never failed, you've never lived.
Isn't that the truth? Okay. So there's that I can attitude. It's very important. We'll be spending some more time on all of these terms. If you're interested in looking up any of those other people, they're important tales to tell. You will fail. Even when you believe you can do it, you're going to fail sometimes. But it's what you do through perseverance and resilience that are going to make the difference of where you go. So that's where these things are all tying together. We'll look at another piece of this in another lesson.